Okay, so we're going to start our imaginary installation project. And to do that, we're going to open up a picture that I completed already. Here's my picture of the gym. It's nice and empty. Here's my first picture of my object, which is a stapler. I have already removed the background, and I showed you how to do that in the first video. This is what I'm using for the shadow of the stapler, and this is what I'm using for the reflection on the floor of the gym of the stapler. So I'm going to show you how to make both those two things. To do that, I'm going to just delete this picture right here and this picture right here and start from just a stapler. So we're going to use our Alt and Move tool method of duplicating to duplicate an extra stapler. That is going to automatically appear on a second layer. Now if we create any effects on this layer, those are going to duplicate with it, just so you know, but you can easily shut that off if you need to. It's shut off already because I didn't even use it on this one. That's shut off too. Alright, so I think I'm going to work on making this one a reflection first. So I'm going to Command T. I'm going to flip the object over itself so that it becomes a mirror reflection of itself on the floor. Then I'm going to probably stretch it a little bit, and I'm going to turn it so that the bottoms match up, because that's what a reflection would look like. There you go. Alright, and then I'm going to move it into place. Great. Alright, so press return to enter my transformation. And the next thing I'm going to do is go on that layer and move it below the other stapler. This is my original stapler picture, and now this is going to be my reflection. I'm going to change the opacity of that to somewhere around, I don't know, maybe 20, 25, somewhere in that area, whatever I think. It's going to be different for everybody. So whatever you think looks good, but it's definitely going to be below 50% because you don't want it to really stand out that much. Unless this was a mirror, in which case it would be higher. But 30% looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to touch it up and move it a little bit, see if I have it in the right position. I'm still going to do a little bit more work on it, and when I'm happy with it, I will let it go. Alright, so this looks pretty good for my reflection. I'm going to press return. Alright, so now that stapler is starting to look like it's really there. It could also benefit from a shadow. So from there, I'm going to duplicate again using the Move tool and the Alt button to make a third copy of the stapler, and I'm again going to move it below the main copy. Okay, so it's behind it. I'm going to remove the main copy for the moment by just turning off that eyeball so it's invisible, and I'm going to push this down a little bit here, and I'm going to start to work with the opacity here. After I lighten it, I may want to Command T to transform it a little bit and warp it so we can't see so much of it. So I'm going to go to Edit, and instead of actually Command T'ing it, I'm going to go to Transform, because they have a Distort button which allows me to kind of bring it in like this. Basically what I'm doing is making it so that you don't see the back of it. This is another way that I could have made the reflection. If I was having it go in a different direction, I could use this to warp it a little bit. But already, I think that when I press return and then put my layer back, it's starting to look a little bit like a shadow. It's just that I need to transform it a little bit more. So I'm going to Command T and just stretch it in this direction. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I want the shadow to match up with that edge right here, so that looks pretty nice. This is shading the floor over there. That kind of makes sense. Now this area between the stapler you wouldn't really see. So I might go in there with my eraser tool, make my eraser tool nice and big, and just zip right through this area, because anything on that layer, there shouldn't be a shadow all the way behind it on the floor. So I removed all the edges. If I had anything else, like maybe right over here, I can erase that. This makes sense, so I'm going to keep that. And now I have a shadow layer, which is that, and I have a layer that is my reflection. Now if you happen to be taking a picture with a carpeted area, you wouldn't use the reflection, you would just want to do a really good shadow. Alright, and that's how you create a shadow and a reflection in Photoshop.